to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our thoughts and prayers are with Commissioner Rumall tonight. Her son is, I think, in the emergency room. Is that what I had heard? Or? He has been moved up the room. I'm not sure of all the details, but certainly our thoughts and prayers are with her. And I'd also like to recognize that former Town Commissioner John Berkeley had passed away last week. And in his honor as a former Town Commissioner, I'd like to just take a moment of silence if we could. Thank you. Okay, with that, welcome everyone to the September 6th meeting, first meeting in September. Back to school. I'd like to have a motion for the approval of the minutes of August 16th.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the financial report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we have a couple employee of the quarter presentations we'd like to do.
The first one is the first quarter for 2017.
I was going to talk about something on the finance side.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you said the employee.
It was on that, did they remove it?
It was an update for, that comes after the update for
Okay,
Okay.
very good. The employee of the quarter award. Lou, do you have some details?
Yes. The employee of the quarter for the first quarter of 2017 involves Craig Dockpower and Roy Miller, Department of Public Works. They're recognized for their outstanding performance as vehicle technicians, supporting all departments of the town of Elkton who have assigned vehicles, but in particular for the extraordinary efforts to fully outfit and equip 6 new police vehicles for the Elkton Police Department. Prior to this work, the Elkton Police Department had outsourced outfitting and equipping police cars, but through unforeseen circumstances, the technician who did this work was not available. So the challenge went to Craig and Roy to do that work, and they stepped up to the plate and were tremendously successful in outfitting and equipping those cars and getting them in service with the Elkton Police Department. We recognize them for their success in facing this challenge and for completing all the necessary work to get those cars on the road for the police department. So Roy and Craig, step forward, please.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. All right, look. Yeah, look, I got you both. Look, we want to be the fortunate ones and get our picture taken with you guys. We'll all jump in here.
Everybody around here.
Oh, there you go, right there.
All right. Neil, he says, get out the way.
All right, big smiles.
Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent. There we go.
Thank you guys so much.
That was no easy task.
Well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Thank you. The second order of the year goes to Corporal Ron Odom of the Elkton Police Department. He's recognized for his outstanding performance as a law enforcement professional with our police department and for his particular ability to respond to hostile confrontations and effectively resolve those types of situations through peaceful means, mitigating the risk of injury to both fellow officers and the citizens of our community. He exemplifies the highest qualities as a police officer by his positive attitude, dedication to duty, his initiative, his gracious assistance to his fellow officers, and his commitment to providing the highest level of service to those he's sworn to serve and protect. Corporal Odom is hereby presented with a certificate of recognition for his 2017 second quarter.
All right, now you gotta get a picture taken.
Good, thank you.
You're good looking, sir. Okay, we wanted to get a little bit of finance department banking update. Steve, are you ready to give that to us?
Sure.
I'm actually excited about this.
There we are. Finance department. Well, I'm in that clear room.
What's that?
Yeah, I get big volume. Early in spring, we met with Tim Spike, the branch manager at Columbia Bank, and Sonny Najati, I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he's a VP of cash management with Columbia Bank. And we gave them all of our statements. We have, of course, funds in PNC and funds with Columbia Bank as well. After a comprehensive review on their part, we met with them again at the end of July, and they offered some opportunities to for the town of Elkton to earn a greater amount of interest than currently earning. There's not a whole lot of interest to be earned out there anywhere, but for management of through different accounts where we can keep money for a while, they've offered a very proactive approach to squeezing most interest out of the dollar that we possibly can. And we have currently set up 4 new accounts with Columbia Bank. We still have all of our accounts with PNC. We'll be migrating to Columbia Bank. We still have things going at PNC. We want to make sure everything, all the activities cleared out from PNC before we move everything over to Columbia Bank. But that is the goal now. We can still participate in the Maryland Local Government Investment Pool that does not require an account with PNC. We can transfer money from Columbia to the pool if that's where the money looks like we get the most bang for the buck. But again, Columbia Bank has presented a very comprehensive plan. With a case of presentation, and the mayor was part of that, and looks like we can get more out of them than what we're currently getting.
And I really appreciate what staff did, and I'll get to the nuts and bolts of it. I'll kind of add a little bit to this. The town of Elkton, I don't have the exact number now, but our accounts went anywhere from 17 to 19 million dollars.
We've got about 16 million now. We'll be getting a big distribution in October, W, the real property tax from the state, which everybody knows is coming from the county, which everyone knows is due September 30th. So.
And that's the money in different funds. We have a water fund, a sewer fund, a major facility fund, and our general fund. And our general fund is what we operate our day-to-day business with. And our sewer fund is based on the money collected from the sewer, the water fund collected from the water, and the major facility fund is money that we would collect from hookup fees, which we have suspended. That total amount of money goes into, we're a municipality, and our charter states that we have to be very conservative with taxpayers' money, in which we have been extremely conservative. The problem with that is, quite frankly, is that last year I think we earned about $15,000, $15,000 to $20,000 in interest on that kind of money. Sounds crazy that an individual can actually put more money in the CD account and earn more money than what we have with our CDs that we're committed to. Now, I give credit to Columbia Bank. They came in, they presented a very conservative program to us, tweaking our system a little bit with money management, and the bottom line is we could earn as much as 130 to $140,000 in interest from where we were at last year.
That was their presentation.
That was based on the presentation, which is huge. I mean, that's huge. I mean, I'm so excited about that. And we'll figure out a way that we'll use that in a way that can certainly, hopefully, offset our tax base here, which would be great. The additional things that we're working on, and I know it's a couple other benefits that we're working on, is one, we're looking at the cashback credit card that we're still working on. I don't know if we're any further with that at this point, but I know that we're creeping along with that, but that's going to happen. That cashback credit card is going to be that if we can make our purchases on that credit card, something we've never done before, we could earn an additional 1% back on our purchases. Well, what does that mean? Well, the town of Elkton purchases, if every vendor would take it, we purchase about $10 to $12 million a year. Well, not that much. Probably about $5 to $6 million, maybe $7.
Yeah, the budget's 13, but a lot of that is narrowing fringe, so that we wouldn't be paying that.
So 1% back would be a huge additional, close to $60,000 to $70,000 back into the general fund. So we're working on that aspect. And then from a customer service, we're also working on, I know that the board's asked for us to figure out a way that we can accept credit cards here at the town. The challenge with accepting credit cards is we get charged a fee, and it's very difficult to add that fee back to the customer. So we're trying to work on ways that we can offset that a little bit. But I know, we're working in the right direction, but I really appreciate all the efforts that finance is. That's huge. That is truly a huge step for us. Any questions? Mr. Lemon, I'll let you say a word. Or two.
What's the time limit on that?
That's moving forward right now, and
Well,
I'd say
is it for a year or what?
that would be 1 year's interest.
No, what I mean is the Federal Reserve will probably raise the rate in December or early next year, which means that the bank will make,
That's correct.
And so the question is this for a time frame of 1 year, or is there a time frame?
I think our commitments are like 90-day commitments.
Yeah, the whole presentation was based on the interest at that time, and certainly would change as the interest rate changes.
So it is a sliding scale.
Well, it will be based on what the interest earns of different investments with the opportunities they present at the time.
Now, if the interest rates go down, we won't get that amount of money.
So they're going to go up.
I think they're going to go up, and it'll be additional for us.
Based on time.
It is. That is correct. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Lou, you were on. Town Administrator Report.
Okay, the first item I have is ordinance 8, 2017. This is an ordinance amending the Elkton zoning ordinance and was introduced after a public hearing on August 16th. And it affects the Article 8, non-conforming situations, Section 5, extension or enlargement of non-conforming situations. Paragraph 4, actually it says, notwithstanding subsection 1, any single-family or duplex structure, which is added to this ordinance, used for residential purposes and maintained as a non-conforming residential use, may be enlarged or replaced with a similar structure of a larger size, so long as the enlargement or replacement does not create new non-conformities or increase the extent of existing non-conformities with respect to setback and parking requirements. This paragraph is subject to limitation under section 8 of this article. The only change this ordinance provides is for to add the words single-family or duplex structure to that particular section. So I would recommend, and this is recommended by the Elkton Planning Commission, after their public hearing, the board adopt this ordinance.
I'd like to have a motion to approve ordinance 8-2017.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on this ordinance? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item I have is ordinance 10, 2017. This ordinance was introduced on August 16th. It It amends the Elkton Police Pension System, which is a unique defined benefit system that only the police department has. And under this program that is currently in place, this will be an amendment to that, adding what's called a deferred retirement option program. This option will allow officers who have reached the 25-year service level to go into a drop program, a deferred program, in which they would no longer contribute to the pension system, nor would the town, but their pension money would be put in a separate account. And at the end of up to a 5-year period, it could be less than that, but up to a maximum of 5-year period, with the exception of the chief of police, then they can have all that money returned to them or given back to them, in addition to their monthly retirement benefit. I would recommend that the Mayor and Commissioners adopt ordinance 10-2017, providing for the drop program for the pension system.
We have a motion to accept ordinance 10-2017, the police pension drop deferred retirement option. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next is a resolution, much more complex. This is a resolution affecting the charter for the town of Elkton, particularly the Article 7 registration, nomination, elections, and the current sections will be repealed and replaced with these sections. They have been drafted by council and reviewed, and if they're adopted tonight, then we'll post these for 40 days in the town hall, have them published in the Cecil Whig for 4 consecutive weeks, and if there's no provision for at the end of a 50-day period, it becomes effective in our charter in replace of the current provisions for the registration, nomination, and election of elected officials.
Other than the 2 sites you just mentioned, would that also be noted on the website for the town that there's a change?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't mention that.
Post it? Yeah, we would do that. But by law, it has to be published in a paper. We can
I
do that.
understand the paper, but I was trying to think of the addition that you said.
Lou, is this resolution 10-2017?
Yeah, R10, 2017.
Do we have a motion to accept for adoption resolution 10-2017? Or is this introduction?
No, this is be adopted, enacted. It's a resolution different from an ordinance.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I just wanted to add that I know that we've been working on this since the last election, so I know it's been over 2 years. I think we came to, just to give a little input, I know Michelle, you was working on the election board of the town, worked on this. John, you worked on it, but it's pretty much brought us in compliance with the state policies. Is that correct?
Yes, and consolidates all of this in one place, whereas before it's not spread all over the map.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The last item I have is the additional letter of map revision that the town is pursuing. The town, the board may recall that the state highway was requested to build a pedestrian bridge across the Big Elk Creek, adjacent to the Delaware Avenue Bridge, and they had notified the town some time ago that because of a FEMA regulation prohibiting any rise in the flood elevation, that they would not proceed with the design of this bridge, nor would they construct it. Subsequent to that, we engaged the KCI services to pursue a CLOMAR, a conditional letter of map revision, that would review all the data that had been submitted to FEMA and reevaluate that in terms of the flood elevation. And I think Brian Morgan is here with KCI, who can much more dramatically describe what's necessary here. They need we got review comments back from FEMA's review people, and they want additional commentary, which would involve approximately $8,000 an additional engineering fee. So I'd asked Brian Morgan to come here and kind of explain what is involved in this additional work, what it involves. Could you do that, Brian?
Appreciate the opportunity. Again, Brian Morgan, KCI. And so we received a comment letter back, and FEMA has an independent review agency or a third-party review agency that typically contracted for these review services. We submitted the completed plumber application. That carried an application fee of $6,500, as I recall, paid to FEMA. And the whole purpose of that application was to present our case and to get FEMA's blessing. Just so in the event in the future, FEMA could approach mid-construction and, not be in agreement with the approach, or, with that activity, and, that could be a whole different set of issues. So we have, in a couple of stations in the flood model, we have a change of 0.01. So KCI has been working in what I feel to be a rather creative fashion, and we've been in contact with both representatives of floodplain management and also a couple of the internal agencies within FEMA to make sure that we're following on a path that they would support. So we had submitted the application to be a change of 0.0 plus or minus 0.01, therefore indicating no change. So they run down a checklist, and there are various items that are required to accompany this application, and many of those did not apply. For instance, they are looking for an updated FEMA map that shows the current line, the effective line, and the line with the proposed change. There is no, the thickness of the line is essentially larger than what the change, the represented change would be. So there's really no physical way to provide that map. So that's just an example of one of the elements that is required. So we had issued a lengthy cover letter explaining the situation and the reason for the position of the submittal package. And so they have come back and still kind of followed that checklist and said, these are the missing elements. So we had a lengthy discussion, a really good discussion with the reviewer directly, and I think that we have worked a creative path where we can provide the feedback and the information that they're looking for. In that particular example, we're going to show the map the same as it is today, and we're going to put two call-outs on that line, and one's going to be existing and one's going to be proposed. And that will allow them to check the box that yes, this information is completed and get us through the process. So we have tried, with diligence to be as cost-effective in our approach as well, in support of the town's funds. And so I feel that, with this approach and the discussion that we've had with the reviewer, and the reviewer, the good part is they did recognize that the change was negligible, that, it's really, this is just a formality.
Are you optimistic we're going to get to
I'm
a bridge?
optimistic. I'm even on the record saying that I'm optimistic, which is,
That bridge is needed.
It is, and we had the discussion of the safety concerns, that, and they're very much aware. Again, this is just a process, and when they're looking at the application, I feel that they want to, if there's a question in the future, they want to be able to pull the file and say, to a T, all of this information was provided and we have it documented. So it's kind of a roundabout way to be able to provide the information that really doesn't necessarily apply in this case, but we're going to find a way to make it happen with your approval.
Thank you. Any other questions for Brian? Do we have a motion to move forward with the submittal for Delaware Avenue pedestrian bridge for the additional $8,000 in engineering fees? Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on this?
It has to be done. We already started, it's gotta be finished.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Let's get that bridge. Lou, do you have anything else, sir?
That's all I have.
Okay, I got a couple things. The Cecil County government is putting together a strategic highway safety plan, and they're asking if we would put a representative onto this board. Is that correct, Lou? Am I reading that correctly? I believe that's what it is. And I'd like to ask one of the board members if they'd like to serve as the liaison with the county government on the Cecil County Strategic Highway Safety Plan. If the members of the board could give it some thought, maybe one of you would decide to do it. I think it's during the afternoon is when they would meet, during work hours. But if you could do it, let me know. If not, I'll be happy to do it. So let me know in something in the next couple of days if you could. Wanted to thank the board for participating. We had 2 ribbon cuttings on Friday. We had the Cohen Furniture Store, which was a great addition to the town. It's nice that they came in and filled up the Oldebauer building. It was it's going to fit them to a T. They're excited about being in Elkton. A lot of their customers were coming from Elkton, and now they're going to be able to allow our customers to really come into their doors instead of having to go into Delaware to get the product. We also had Brook Bend Interiors with their grand opening, and that was on the first Friday of the month. And those 2 guys are ecstatic about being in downtown Elkton. I think they almost sold out of product. Quite frankly, I think they said they never expected to have that type of turnout and expect that type of sales. They were even open on Saturday and Sunday, and he even opened on Monday on Labor Day, and he said he had customers every day.
Yeah.
So he said he'll be open 7 days a week if the customers want him to be there, and he said he's got 2 more floors of inventory, and he's always buying and putting the stuff together for reuse. So it's pretty exciting about that. Lou, I spoke to, well, I guess I should ask Dan this question. Dan, are you guys in need of a lawnmower? Do you need have you moved forward with that, or do you have a broken lawnmower, or
Yes,
lay it
we do.
out there?
Yes, we do.
Do you have some pricing on that unit that you could get to the board?
Yes,
If it's something that we need,
yes.
I don't think that anyone on this board would be against getting a lawnmower if that's what we need to get.
Broken hearts, broken lawnmower.
Okay, we want to make sure that we take care of our parks.
Got it. You have a question?
Very good. And an update, Lou, am I correct? I got it in my calendar. Friday, we have a meeting on smart meters.
Yeah, with Honeywell.
So we're meeting with Honeywell, and I believe that this will give us enough information, I think, to make a decision about which brand we're going to go with and which direction we're going to go. You feel pretty comfortable with that?
Well, I can't say that, but Honeywell was a vendor used by Newark with their system. So our engineer recommended that we initially meet with them to find out how they would propose to do a job for Elkton. But because the cost of this is so enormous, we don't necessarily have to choose them. But we will get a good perspective on what's involved in their end, because it would be a really big project to manage.
Very good. And can either the chief or yourself give me kind of an update where we're at or what we need to do in regards to making Elkton a camera-friendly place?
I think the chief has sent out something.
You sent out a, oh,
Yeah, I don't remember.
did you see it?
Yeah, but I think it was where you're putting the camera.
You put the proposal together?
Right.
Yeah, I do. I got a proposal together, sent it out to everybody, and,
Wait for feedback, or
yeah, just waiting for feedback.
Oh.
We have it on the September workshop.
it's on the
Oh, okay.
September workshop? Great.
Yeah, the 13th.
I'm excited about that. I think it would be go a long ways if the residents of our community, if we could expand the cameras out. It's not that they will be monitored all the time, but what it's going to do is it's going to make people aware that we are camera friendly. We are camera friendly, so don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything crazy. Okay, with that, I think that that is, let me see. Oh, no, I ain't not used to that. With that, Mary Jo, you're on.
I just wanted to see if the town, if we're going to paint the town pink again in October for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've done it the past few years. It was a countywide, not event, but the county asked that every town be a part of it. So I didn't know, are we planning on doing that? If the board would like to do it?
I'd be happy to say yes. For I don't have any opinion. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Is the rest of the board okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Thank you. And the only other thing I have, Fall Fest is 15th and the 16th. Please come out. We've got a lot going on for kids and people of all ages. You go on the website, elktonfallfest.com, and get the schedule, or there's, I think, some outside and posters and whatever else you need. So that's about it.
All right, Earl, you're on.
Yes, I just have one comment, and since Dan here, I think I can bring it to the table. The park we use to water down at the park, I know we had some emails going around about shutting off the water, because at night people are using it. During the day they're using it, sometimes leaving it on. And, oh yes. And even the other day I saw several people charging their phones at the electric box. There's an electric box right in the front. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's accurate, but yeah.
Well, it must be active to you. I asked about trying to get a lock on it, but apparently say it can't be locked.
You talking for the hydrants?
Yes.
Yeah, for the water. The reason the water was established for the summer camp program. Summer camp's over, we can shut it off. It's easier that way. If you lock the top in, people have tendency just to rip the whole thing off. That's happened in the past.
We can shut off the water.
Yeah, we shut the water off. Yeah, we shut off the water. Yeah.
You can shut it off.
Instead of locking it, we just turn the whole thing off. Done.
Easier for us to do that.
Well, we just said you saw people using it.
Could we, I mean, would we shut that water off at every evening or would we, how would we do that?
Shut it off for the.
It's all for the season now, yes. It's all for the season now. We just generally keep it active minutes for summer camp. It's easy down there.
The summer camp wasn't using it. This is individuals using it. I saw the people using it.
No, I'm just saying, the summer camp uses it, that's where they workshop, that's where they have their lunches, the summer camp. Then when they're done, you turn it off.
I guess we're missing something here. Number one, the use of the hydrant, when someone has rented a park down there for one of the pavilions, one of the comments were, why, if they need to use the water, I mean, they can or they can't use it.
They're not, I believe by the rental agreement, they're not supposed to use it.
So in the rental agreement, would it be nice if you applied an extra additional cost for the use of the water or electric? If someone's using the park for a reason and the facility has that accommodation, I think it would be feasible for that to be either rented out with the cost. I'm just using this as an example. I mean,
That's a part of your next question. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Mary.
Yeah, that's part of your next question.
okay. All right. I will talk a little bit more about this offline.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm done with this.
Charles?
Mary Jo sent a question to Lois, I guess, if it rained, which there's a possibility within the next 30 days, and you got a detour on 281, then that means you need to circumvent traffic. Has anybody ever thought of that, even though it may or may not happen, particularly now if it floods on Delaware Avenue?
Delaware Avenue.
Food for thought.
I don't know if the state highway consider that or not. I don't think that it would be available, because the reason it's being closed is because major stormwater conduits and water line reconstructions going on in the actual roadway. So we no way to pass vehicles through there.
Did you hear what I said?
Okay, in case of a flood.
No.
No, another way
What happens to
around.
Delaware Avenue now that you cannot get through as a way out of town?
They're gonna have to be bypassed over to 213.
Yeah, that's the only way out,
And-
Delaware Avenue and 213.
So that does not become, and I know not your responsibility, but you know, everything falls back on the town, should have done whatever. I'm saying, have you been in communication with them, or should that happen, to be a quick decision on their part?
I have communicated with Greg Holsey, the district engineer, about the detours there, about how the traffic is monitored, but I have not given him a flood scenario at what to do. Normally, what they would do is just say, Route 279, North Street, Delaware Avenue, or 213. It's the only option you would have.
Or if they were coming through town, someone lived in town, they could turn on South Street and down Howard.
I think most of the people who
Unless
live
that-
here know how to get in that.
I mean, no problem.
It's the problem, like the tractor trailer
I
coming
wouldn't
down.
necessarily say that though, because I really.
Why they're coming here, but nobody would come. through.
Because they're not getting a ticket. I'm sorry, but if they start getting a ticket, they won't come through the town of Elkton. My husband drove for 47 years, and he said they get on the CB and they start saying, don't go through that town, you're gonna get a ticket. And we don't ticket them. They get stuck, well, you saw the picture yesterday with the curb. It's awful.
If we did something, we're gonna have to do it prior to the bridge so that they could see, maybe there is something there, I don't know.
And there is on the north side of North Street Bridge, there's a big sign, there'll be sort of applied signs posted by the state highway to turn on Railroad Avenue. So if somebody comes over the bridge, you turn right on Railroad Avenue to get 213.
Yeah.
We put that sign there a couple of years ago, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that there was two yesterday or day before yesterday that jammed up downtown, and it's backed it up to American Home and Hardware, and it couldn't turn in, so I guess it was pretty dramatic.
Part of the issue that we find is some of the GPS that's out there is sending them down North Street. Late thing, signs up there saying not to go down.
Well, I think that's if they don't have like a trucker, like a CDL, whatever,
Yeah,
you know, they're using like a GPS that you have in your car, then they're gonna send them anywhere. But there's ones made for truck drivers, but they don't want to pay for
I
it.
think I
that's
mentioned
food for
before,
thought.
though, State Highway could put flashing lights on that sign, because there's one in Northeast that has that on the sign, so it can be seen. They may not be seeing it, but, it might help.
Anyway, that's food for thought, and my last, comment is the fact that even though she was not a town official, I think she was a very ardent supporter of the town of Elkton board. She worked with the Alliance, she worked with Fall Fest, and we know that Becky McKinney has passed on, and her funeral will be next Tuesday at the Veterans Cemetery. And it's so much to see a person, you don't learn about them a lot of times until their death, but Becky had children and grandchildren, and certainly, I don't think we all knew that.
Yeah.
But, she did her best to come and do what she could for the town.
I got a lot of Becky McKinney stories I could tell.
I bet you do.
I think we will too.
I got a lot of good stories for Becky, but
Yeah.
Bless her soul.
Yes.
Any other? Very good. This is time of the meeting. We open up the floor for anyone who has anything to say. If you have anything to say, please come down and check in and sign in or state your name and your address there, Mr. Lemon.
I just want to congratulate you, and Steve and Lewis on the great job you did with Columbia Bank. No wonder you're so excited. That was really great. Super job.
It was very good. Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Yes, Miss Sarah?
I know Dan.
Address?
131 Court.
Okay, thank you.
Dan has been doing a fantastic job in our neighborhood. I mean, I know we're not the ritzy neighborhood or anything like that, but every improvement makes a big difference, and my neighbors are talking. Now, they have no idea what's going on, but they're talking. The bank at the end of Quail Court has been overgrown with just underbrush, and the community has decided that they're just going to start dumping stuff there. Yard clippings and things that the town won't pick up as trash, or things that they don't want the town to know that they're disposing of, and it ends up in the water eventually. And Dan and his crew have come through and taken out so much brush that the neighbors think we're building houses there, but I won't tell them that they're not. Because, I mean, he's probably reclaimed at least a half acre of land right there.
Trying.
And
Fantastic.
it's just a start, but I mean, I can see the bridge on Old Field Point Road from my front door now.
Fantastic.
So it's huge, it looks so nice, and I can see the water, and it's great.
We're going to have Dan's gang doing a lot of clearing out here shortly. Very good. Anyone else have anything to
I
say?
wanted to thank you guys for approving the speed bumps in Walnut Hill. It has made a huge improvement. Looking forward to those stop signs going up
Just give me your address.
214 Lake Drive.
Very good.
But yes, it has, I have actually a speed bump right out front of my house, and you can tell a huge difference. And the people that hit it going fast, I laugh at them, and they hear me laughing and move out.
We made a mistake just for the occasion.
But it has made a huge improvement in there.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize John Roush, principal at Elkton High School. Thank you for coming tonight, John. You have something to say?
A couple comments.
Yes.
110 James Street. I would like to thank the town, the Elkton Alliance, for their support of our band with the commitment to subsidize from your proceeds from the concert on June 3rd. That helped us with a significant portion of our band uniforms, and I can't state enough how appreciative I am of that, and I know our band and our kids are very happy with that, and I want to thank you. Continued support of the town with police support with athletic events and such. Thank you, and you guys are great, and I appreciate everything.
Thank you, John. And it's a two-way street. Thank you for allowing us the privilege of using that fantastic facility. What a facility, and I think I just wish that everyone in the town of Elkton could go in there and see that theater, a stage area at Elkton High School. It's absolutely wonderful. And I'd like to figure out how we can start planning on the next one that we do, because I mean, that's a wonderful facility.
You're more than welcome.
$55 million improvement. I was there when it all
Well,
happened.
there you go. And I guess last but not least, I'd like to be the first to say that one of our members on our planning commission, Ed Ginder, has filed for county council in the upcoming election, I guess April, May. I don't know when the actual date is, but thank you, Ed, for stepping up, and you certainly have my support as you're running for council. We really appreciate everything you've done for the town of Elkton, and you're continuing to do, and we wish you luck in this new venture.
Thank you.
With that,
One other thing,
Okay,
Mr.
Mr.
9800
Hunter,
Place.
what's your address?
9800 Place, while you're talking about the state highway, both the North Street and Bridge Street bridges, you have weeds growing up. On the Bridge Street Bridge, you have the poison ivy that's overflowing the railings. It doesn't paint a pretty picture coming into town.
Very good. I see Lewis is writing it down. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Get it, was that? Yes, it would look nice. It's 7:45, this meeting is adjourned.